I'm sorry, but this was the funniest season of all time.
What are you thinking about? Oh my goodness!
It was awesome.
Hold on. Absolutely crazy.
And the Wizards just trying to play basketball.
This is why Wizards are 3-35.
What? What's wrong with them?
We've only just scratched the surface.
What was that comment? Wait.
Trying to play basketball.
This is why Wizards are 3-35.
And yet, we've only just scratched the surface of funny, unserious, and flat-out ridiculous moments from season 2024. So over the next 20 minutes,
hey, that shit was crazy. I remember that one, boy. That coach was crazy. That nigga, hey, he was going like, you can see that shit in his eyes.
Vibes were high on opening night. But things went downhill pretty quickly for the Lakers.
Pandemic Bron.
Started their season.
Paul George
when they
tribute.
left off in 2023.
Barbecue chicken alert! Barbecue chicken alert!
And so did the Warriors, as they took an L to the new-look Phoenix Suns on opening night. Clearly, Bradley Beal didn't get the memo about load management from Adam Silver. Malik Monk ended Utah
Load management on opening night. Hey! Ha! Oh, Zion! All the way back. That is all the way back. Do you feel me?
Perhaps the most this game.
Wemby was everything we envisioned.
Bayless needed to start hating.
Found a new target, excuse me.
But
And generational talent.
I don't think any of us were prepared for the in-season tournament. Nevertheless, the clutch player of the year. And the Hornets commentator had another moment in the sun. The Celtics were for 2 weeks of NBA action, and then Anthony Edwards happened.
Man,
Speaking of
I'm
Anthony Edwards,
him.
the week that man what he was going to do about it.
Having a few words. That's the one.
Ooh.
There's your answer. It's fair to say Draymond was pretty annoyed about what happened, because 2 nights later, he got himself ejected in 1 minute and 43 seconds, and turned the Chase Center into a WWE exhibition center. 3 weeks into
Draymond was
the
just
Celtics sat atop
ecstatically horrible.
Minnesota closed in on Denver for top spot in the Western Conference. Jokic took a hold of the MVP race, followed closely by Embiid, and Wemby just nudged out Chet Holmgren for first place honours in the Rookie of the Year race. But not for long, because in week 4, Chet snatched it right back with this insane shot against the Warriors. Speaking of the Warriors, who could forget when Chris Paul just said, "Today's the day, Scott Foster. We are airing the out right here, right now." Devin Booker was on a tear in week 5, silencing Madison Square Garden with this fadeaway. His teammate Kevin Durant, however, was on a different tear. On Twitter, going back and forth with Adidas.
What?
And
You
while we're
dusty
on Golden
doubles.
State and Phoenix, it's fair to say Warriors head coach Steve Kerr was, well, he was sick of playing in Phoenix.
He said wouldn't put a big toe in that motherfucker.
Anything, 'cause it's like a club It's like a South Beach club out there. What are we doing?
But the DJ wasn't letting up.
This building, you can't hear anything. This is like a club. It's like a South Beach club.
In week 6 of the NBA season, Rudy Gobert cemented himself as the defensive player of the year. LeBron was just getting coaches ejected, and the Orlando Magic were just having fun. I'll tell you who wasn't having fun though. Utah Jazz coach Will Hardy, who after 5 weeks of watching his team play, had simply had enough.
That was a masterpiece of dog shit.
The Detroit Pistons weren't having fun either. After going winless for a month in November.
That was a masterpiece of dog shit, he said.
2-26 bad. No way. Are we that bad?
Yes, you heard that right. Winless. 15. Not as insane as the Indiana Pacers, upsetting the first seed Boston Celtics in the quarterfinals of the in-season tournament. And then the Bucks in the semifinals.
Tries another three. Timeout, Bucks. It's an 8-point lead.
Unfortunately, they couldn't go all the way against the Lakers. But maybe that was for the best.
Champagne showers in December.
7 weeks of play, nothing much changed in the Eastern Conference. Boston, Milwaukee, and the Sixers were still dominating. Denver slipped to third in the West, and the Timberwolves claimed the number 1 seed. Embiid overtook Jokic for the first time in the MVP race, and Chet, after a few good weeks, had overtaken Victor Wembanyama in the Rookie of the Year race. Week 8 was ridiculous. Ayo Dosunmu put up a stat line Tony Snell would be proud of. Dylan Brooks
Bro was legit doing cardio.
well, different circumstances, and had something to say. Steve Kerr and the Warriors returned to Phoenix. And then it happened again. Draymond was suspended indefinitely. But the most chaotic thing that happened that week was when Giannis dropped the franchise record 64 points against the Indiana Pacers. But there was one problem. He didn't get the game ball.
It'd been wild.
So he took his anger out the following game on the Pistons, who still hadn't won a game since October. Jalen Brunson dropped a career-high 50 points a few days later, and Julius Randle made sure he got his game ball. Pure yassery, and I love it. The lead up to Christmas was pretty wild. James Harden was loving life in Los Angeles. We all probably know why. Jimmy Butler returned to Chicago with a point to prove.
Step back for the win. Yes!
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander pulled game on the Nuggets.
He said it's still my house.
Steph continued to prove his haters wrong. I'm telling you, the man is clutch. Ja made it clear he had unfinished business.
I'm that dog. I'm a
And the
dog.
Lakers raised banner number 18.
Hey, it's banner number
And
18.
so it was Christmas. Luka Doncic got the best of Devin Booker yet again. The Celtics faced off against the Lakers. I'll be honest, the game was pretty ordinary. The most interesting moment came at the end, when Jason Tatum shamelessly avoided this turnover.
Gave bro a turnover.
The Pistons took the Celtics to overtime a few days later, but they fell short yet again. And with that loss, they tied the NBA record for most consecutive losses in a single season.
Just took hella L's. Boy, had to learn.
8. But would you
28.
believe, just days after making history, for all the wrong reasons, they finally did it. an insane game on New Year's Eve in Minnesota. Ant-Man was cooking, and LeBron hit a game-tying three with just seconds left.
Ron, got it!
Or so he thought.
No, they're calling it a two.
Never seen
To be fair,
MJ do
the
that.
man was right. Unfortunately, things got even worse for the King in the new year, somehow getting stripped by this high schooler twice in one game.
The oldest losing is here.
Josh Hart couldn't believe Dante DiVincenzo didn't go up and get this pass. And Jokic was just doing Jokic things. The Raptors visited the Lakers in Week 12. D'Lo couldn't believe this fan just won $100 grand. Clearly, he was less interested in the game, but the Lakers got the job done. Although it's fair to say Raptors coach Darko Rajokovic wasn't too happy about it.
What happened tonight? This is completely BS. This is shame.
The face of this league.
He gets two free throws for a whole game. How you gonna explain that to me? They had to win tonight? If that's the case, just let us know so we don't have to show up for the game.
Cook those fans with a $20 million fine income.
Damian Lillard finally got his moment in Milwaukee. And so did Thanasis. For about 4 seconds, until he was late getting back on offense, missed this rebound, and gave Donovan Mitchell a wide open dunk. The Clippers couldn't stop laughing after Gobert airballed this free throw. And maybe for everybody's sake, it's best if the commentators just stick to commentating. Which brings us to week 14, one of my favourite weeks of the NBA season, because this is where things really start to heat up. Karl Anthony Towns dropped 44 points in a half against the Charlotte Hornets. Joel Embiid dropped 70. 70? Oh, and a few days later, Luka Doncic just casually dropped 73 points on the Atlanta Hawks. It was a week of first for Wemby. His first Shamgod, his first bat sighting. Giannis was scanning a QR code in the middle of a game. Unserious baller. Draymond was catching bodies as the Warriors and the Lakers played a double overtime thriller.
Three-pointers up.
By week 15 in the NBA, Embiid was probably the biggest lock to win the MVP since Steph Curry in 2016. And then Nuggets fans baited him into playing against the Warriors.
And Embiid is down. Joel Embiid is down on the ground.
Kevin Durant returned to Brooklyn and had some choice words for his former teammate Cam Thomas. While Wemby was genuinely making his opponents look mini over in Washington. Like, bro, what is this? So, what do you know? 15 weeks, Minnesota and OKC were still tied for the first seed in the Western Conference. Over in the East, Boston began to pull away. Jokic took back first place honours in the MVP race, and Wemby's stronghold on the Rookie of the Year trophy was growing by the day. Week 16 in the NBA, and Pat Bev was on his way to Milwaukee to link up with Damian Lillard.
Hey, so who else on the team?
It was at this moment that he knew. He done.
Fair to say there's a history between those two. Jose Alvarado struck again, whilst up 41 points. Like, can you imagine being down 41 points and this happens? I'm honestly just throwing hands at that point. Anyway, over in Milwaukee, Thanasis continued to prove his haters wrong. I'll tell you who
I'm never
actually
going
proved
to
their haters
Giannis
wrong,
after
though.
that.
D'Angelo Russell, who averaged 27 and 5 in the month of February. I'm going to be honest, week 17 of the NBA was pretty boring, and so was the All-Star game, so we won't waste any time on that. Week 18, however, started off with a bang, or should I say, with this lady calling Kevin Durant a then instantly regretting it. Kyrie was back and cooking. Nothing seemed to be going right for Jordan Poole and the Wizards. And Scotty Barnes hit Mikal Bridges.
They realized send Jordan Poole to drown.
But I don't think anything could have prepared us for week 19. We started off with an all-in brawl in Minnesota. This dude brought back the chokehold move on Jimmy Butler. And then, after a well-fought game over in San Francisco, Steve Clifford and Steve Kerr went to shake hands. But Draymond had other ideas.
You know something, bro? I think Draymond really shot for getting Jordan Poole sent off. Like, that's some whole shit. Fucked up that man's confidence, some more shit.
And then,
The Jordan Poole special is wild.
With 5 weeks to go in the NBA season, Boston had well and
Jordan
truly
Poole
pulled away
special.
from the Cavs and the Bucks in the East. Over in the West, however, things were getting extraordinarily tight. Minnesota had a 1-game buffer on the Thunder, and Denver was starting to find some form after the All-Star break. In week 20,
But it's too funny. I'm sorry, it's too funny.
Faced off in a Rookie of the Year showdown. I won't sugarcoat it. Wemby pulled his pants down. Then had this to say to the Spurs crowd post-game. It was at this moment everyone realised that from 2025 on, this is Wemby's league. Things were starting to click for the Bucks. And the Lakers, as they took apart Oklahoma City. However, things weren't necessarily clicking for Javon Carter over in Chicago.
Bruh.
In week 21, we saw Anthony Edwards literally hit his head on the
You said
as
Ben
he got up
Simmons
this
type
game.
beat. Niggas out there with
Slow
that
start
Ben
to his
Simmons
NBA
type
career,
beat.
Jalen Green began to show some promise over in Houston. He led them on an 11-game winning streak and a league best 13-2 record in the month of March. And speaking of young guns, Warriors rookie Trace Jackson Davis was the first player to put Wemby on a poster. A different Jackson was getting up in Milwaukee, and De'Aaron Fox simply
I like
couldn't
those.
believe what he was seeing.
I like those.
And neither could the Warriors when Anthony Edwards launched into outer space. It
Damn!
was interesting, to say the least.
Life just been on some funny shit, no Diddy. I know y'all see Diddy down there. That thumbnail is wild, boy.
Because we had 2 more game winners. Kyrie with this flat out ridiculous left-handed fadeaway floater, or whatever you call that. And over in Detroit, Bam was rubbing salt in the wounds of the Pistons. The Dallas Mavericks were beginning to click in week 23, and it wouldn't be right if we didn't acknowledge the season Luka Doncic was having, averaging 33, 9, and 9, a damn near triple-double, and a stat line no one else in the history of basketball has accomplished for an entire season. On a less serious note, Chris Paul called referee Tony Brothers a TikToker and got himself ejected with less than 6 seconds remaining. With 2 weeks to go in the NBA season, Jokic was still in command of the MVP trophy, but Luka was making a late charge. Wemby was running away with the Rookie of the Year crown, and things were getting loud in the Western Conference, especially in the race for the play-in. Dallas, Phoenix, Sacramento, and the Lakers all fighting for guaranteed playoff positioning. The Warriors were also lurking, but they were in danger of falling out of the play-in altogether as a red-hot Houston closed in. So when they visited Orlando in week 24, it was a must-win game. But clearly no one told Draymond Green, who got himself ejected in 3 minutes and 36 seconds. Utterly ridiculous. Steph was genuinely emotional, and despite all of that, the Warriors ended up winning anyway. But perhaps the funniest moment of the night was when Draymond dapped up Steph back in the locker room, looked dead straight at the camera, and said, "F it, I'll do it again." Houston, however, was still on their tail as they went into
Draymond is a demon, boy. Do you hear me?
But their quest for the 10 seed didn't last long, and the Warriors let them know about it. The final week of the NBA season was filled with chaos. Paul George was breaking ankles, and so was his protege, Brandon Miller. Heading into the final day of the season, Minnesota, Denver, and Oklahoma City still, quite literally, couldn't be separated. Until the Nuggets blew a 20-point lead to the 14th place San Antonio Spurs. But maybe the play of the season was from Big Boban, who was quite happy to miss a second free throw and give the Clippers fans free chicken.
Here's your job. Give him chicken. He's a man of the people.
Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next time, peace out.